Hi, Jorge.
Hey, Tanya.
Tell me a little bit for those that are not familiar with the Clifton Strength. What would you say is different about the strength-based approach in comparison to a conventional one?
Good question. Well, let's start with the conventional approach, right? Most people are familiar with it with the name something like performance improvement plan or development plan. Um, and the idea is that we pick one or two of our weaknesses and we develop a plan to improve them, to get better, to bring up our weak areas. Um, And so we ask, well, what's inherently wrong with that idea? Well, there's a couple of things wrong, but more importantly, it suggests that most, if not all, behaviors can be learned, and that if we fix our weaknesses, that leads us to success. But we know that that's not the case. That's not true. And Gallup's done a lot of research to help us start to prove that that's in fact not the case. And so a strengths-based approach is sort of the opposite, right? It suggests that only some behaviors can be learned, and that if we focus on our weakness, that might help prevent failure, but it won't lead us to success. And so, as Gallup strength coaches, we like to coach others to focus on their strengths. But I just said we don't want to focus on our weaknesses. So, what happens to our weaknesses, right?
Mhm.
And that's a really important question that we have to consider. It's important for us to identify our weak areas, but so that we can navigate around them, we can manage around them, right? We want to focus on our strengths, but we need to know our weak areas so that we can navigate. And we can do that in a couple of different ways. We can develop complementary partnerships with other people. So when we start to learn the strengths of others, we can leverage that. Or we can develop support systems, right? And they don't have to be complex. For example, I use a calculator quite often at work, and that's a version of a simple support system. And so we know that when we focus on our strengths, that's where our greatest chance for success lies.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So let
Absolutely.
me ask you something.
Sure.
I've just described sort of what the approach is to having a strengths-based development approach, but why do you think that it's so important for us to spend time identifying our strengths?
Yeah, that's a great question. I like to describe it like this. Think back on a great day you recently had. So maybe it was a closing of a huge sale. Maybe you had an amazing investment idea. Maybe you are starting an important project, or you are checking off every task on your extensive to-do list. And so a lot of people are really good in knowing and remembering the what of a great day. So that sale, the important project, um, and the amazing investment idea, and so forth. But the why is much harder to discern. And the secret is in understanding Gallup's research on human nature, which is anytime you've had a great day, you were using your strengths to the T. And when you start to learn and to view your best days through the lens of strengths, you can have considerably greater days, more greater days. And when when you really operate from your top strengths, things become easier, more fun, and emotionally gratifying. And that feeling is the why. And
Mm,
so most people know the what of a great day, but the why is more important.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're watching this and you are wondering, what's my why? Don't worry if you can't identify it. That's where we come in. We're going to have our workshop soon if you want to learn more about strength and to really learn more and name it, claim it, and aim it.